Hello, this is Mandy Sabrin. Thank you so much for joining me here. I'm so glad you're here. So today I'm going to lead you through a really nice, kind of fun Vinyasa flow class. So if you're ready, join me on the mat and we can go ahead and get started. So we'll start by sitting up nice and tall in easy pose. Crisscross applesauce, however your legs feel good to you. Sitting up nice and tall in the spine and reaching the crown of the head to the sky. Let's take a roll of the shoulders. Maybe a couple rolls of the shoulders. Back down, away from the ears. And resting our palms gently on the knees. Just coming into the present moment. Feeling the weight of our body pressing down against the earth. Feeling the support of the surface beneath you. And gently closing your eyes. And taking the attention within. And just checking in. How are you feeling right now? No judgment. Just with pure acceptance. Just checking in with gentle curiosity. Checking in with your emotions. And then just noting, how is your body feeling right now? Noticing any areas you might be holding tightness or tension. Again, no judgment. Just noticing with curiosity. Maybe noticing any areas feeling soft, gentle, comfortable. Not trying to change anything at this point, just noticing. And now bringing our attention to the breath. Noticing the rise and the fall of the breath as it enters and leaves the body. Just checking in and noticing how your body's breathing. Not trying to change anything. Just bringing your awareness to the breath. Now let's take a long, slow, deep breath. Bringing the air in through the nose and all the way down and filling the belly like a balloon. We're going to release all the air out of the mouth or the nose. And feeling all of the air exiting the body and feeling the navel being sucked up against the back of your spine, sitting up nice and tall. Let's do that 2 more times. Intentional cleansing breath, bringing the air in through the nose, filling the belly, and releasing in a loud, audible. Releasing all the air. And one more time. And now just returning the breath. And begin breathing long, slow, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. And as we move throughout our practice, I encourage you to engage the optional Ujjayi breath. Begin breathing in and out of the nose and taking a slight restriction to the back of the throat. And your breath becomes audible, ocean-like. As we move throughout our practice, I encourage you to keep your focus on your breath. And at any time, if you've noticed that your attention has wandered, just gently bringing it back to the breath. Again, no judgment, just gentle awareness. And sitting up nice and tall through the spine once again. Opening the eyes if they've been closed. And we'll begin taking a few shoulder rolls. Rolling one direction and then the other. And bringing the shoulders down away from the ears. Once again, reaching the crown of the head to the ceiling. Let's take our gaze to the right. Just gentle. And back to center. And to the left. And back to center. And to the right. Once again. And back to center. And once again to the left. And back to center. Now let's reach the arms up, 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 feeling a nice stretch. Maybe take the gaze up towards the sky. Again, shoulders down away from the ears. Bringing the head back to neutral. Let's take our arms on either side and just lightly tenting our fingertips on either side. Just lightly on the ground, on the mat. And taking our right ear to our right shoulder, feeling a nice stretch to the left side. Just gentle, just a gentle stretch here. Don't strain. And maybe taking the right hand up and just gently placing it on the head. Just elongating that stretch very gently. And releasing the hand, fingers back down to the mat, bringing the head once again to neutral. Let's take the left ear to the left shoulder and reaching up with the left hand and gently pressing the hand, just gently resting the left hand and feeling the stretch. And remembering to continue to breathe long, slow, deep breaths. Releasing the hands and fingertips back to the mat and bringing the head back to neutral. Let's reach up once again with our arms And let's do a twist. So bringing the left hand to the right knee, reaching back with the right hand, sitting up nice and tall and straight through the spine, and taking our gaze over the right shoulder. Taking a nice twist through the upper body. Taking a few breaths here. Long, slow, deep breaths. There's Sammy. And releasing head, neck, shoulders, reaching up once again. And bringing our right hand to the left knee, reaching back with the left hand, reaching up nice and tall and straight through the spine, and taking our gaze over our left shoulder. And releasing head, neck, shoulders, reaching up once again and bringing our hands back down to the earth. Now let's take our right palm, placing it on the mat next to us, reaching up with the left arm, and just take a gentle bend to the right. Feeling a gentle bend through the right side body, whatever feels good to you here. Keeping your arm next to your ear. And coming up, back up, bringing the left palm to the mat. The right arm comes up to the right ear. And just taking a gentle bend to the left. And coming right back up. And now we're going to start warming up our spine with some cat and cow. So coming up to tabletop, we're going to spread our fingers nice and wide and place them shoulder width apart. And coming up onto our knees, we're going to make sure that our shoulder is right directly over our wrists and that we're stacking our knees right beneath our hips and our back is nice and flat. Fingers spread wide, knees are hip width apart, and your feet, tops of your feet are flat on the mat. Now we're going to begin with a cow movement. So we're going to start with the spine and gently dropping the belly towards the earth, arching back and pressing through all 10 fingers up away from the earth. Opening up through the front of the chest and bringing the chin forward, taking our gaze forward. And on the exhale, once again reaching up through, beginning with the tailbone. We're gonna round the spine again, pressing through all 10 fingers and bringing the chin to the chest. And allowing the head, neck, and shoulders to just relax. Pressing away from the earth. And on the inhale, dropping the spine once again, going back into cat, cow. Excuse me. And continuing to connect breath to movement. Long, slow, deep breaths in and out of the nose. Just take a few rounds at your own pace of breath, taking the movements that feel good for you here. And when you're ready, coming back to a neutral spine, we're going to thread the needle here. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the weight into our left palm. Reaching up with the right arm, we're going to sneak our right hand underneath our left shoulder, and we're going to bring our right shoulder down to the mat, keeping our hips elevated, Bringing our right cheek and right shoulder down to the mat, and then walking the left hand forward out to the edge of the mat, and just relaxing and melting here into the mat and feeling the shoulders opening. A nice stretch. And taking a few long, slow, deep breaths here. Making any adjustments. There should be no pain. Just a nice, gentle stretch. And take one more breath here. And we'll take our left hand and walk it back next to our cheek, pressing up through the left palm. Reaching out with our right arm, reaching up high, and then placing that right hand onto the mat. And we'll do that with the left hand. Let's bring our left arm up high. And let's sneak that left hand underneath our right shoulder and place our left shoulder on the mat. And bringing our left cheek down to the mat, keeping the hips elevated. Move my earpiece. Reaching the right arm out straight. And just melting down into the pose. I have a crazy little puppy, and I'm sure she's coming in and out of the picture. And hopefully the sound isn't too distracting. And we'll take one more breath here. And bringing your right palm back towards your cheek, pressing back up into tabletop. Now we're going to take and go into extended child's pose. So bringing our big toes to touch, we're going to take our knees out nice and wide, almost to the edge of the mat to begin. And pressing back on our hands, we're going to take and set all the way back to our feet. And now take any adjustments that feel good here in your legs. And we're going to extend into child's pose. So we're going to walk our hands forward, gently bringing our belly down to the mat, the chest to the mat, and ultimately bringing your forehead to the mat, reaching through your 10 fingers and just melting. Taking any adjustments. Should be nice and comfortable here. Releasing any tension you may be holding in your jaw. Long, slow, deep breaths. We'll take one more breath here. And slowly walking your hands back towards your head and slowly rising up. Placing the palms on the mat. Nice spread, fingers spread out nice and wide. We're going to slowly rise up on our knees. We're going to take and tuck all 10 toes under. And pressing up into our first downward facing dog. Your feet should be about hip distance apart. Hands shoulder width apart. Spreading your fingers out nice and wide. And taking whatever movements feel good for you here in your first downward facing dog, maybe pedaling out the feet. The goal here might be to get the heels as close to the floor as is possible in your body. And just remembering in yoga, every body's different. There's no goal of making a pose look a certain way. Whatever feels good for you. Pure acceptance of where you're at. And just allowing your head to hang nice and natural. Maybe coming up on your toes and stretching all 10 toes. And coming heels back to the earth. Reaching up one more time. Feeling all 10 toes grounding into the mat, pressing through all 10 fingertips. And bringing the heels close to the mat. And we're going to slowly walk our hands back towards the back of the mat. And we're going to come into a ragdoll pose. So our feet are about hip distance apart. We've got a nice generous bend in our knees. And taking the torso, almost laying our torso on our knees or on our thighs. And just allowing our head and neck to hang nice and loose and natural. And maybe taking opposite hand to opposite elbow. Pressing through all 10 toes, feeling the earth. Maybe rocking gently side to side, feeling the opening through the spine. Creating space and remembering to breathe. Maybe bending and straightening one knee and the other. One knee and the other. Okay, so now we're going to take our hands to the earth. And we're going to gently heel toe our feet to the outer edges of the mat here. And keeping our feet at a 45-degree angle when we get to the edge of the mat. We're going to slowly and gently come down to a yogi squat or a jiva squat. So we're keeping our knees at a nice 90-degree angles. We're just going to lower down into a squat. You can place your elbows on the insides of your knees for support. And just bringing chest up as your tailbone comes down. And reaching up through the chest. Grounding down through the feet. Bringing your hands, palms together. And bringing the thumbs to the sternum. Supporting your knees with your elbows. And just relaxing down into the pose. And breathing long, slow, deep breaths. Again, rising up through the chest. And deepening into the pose on each exhale. Releasing any tension in your jaw. Grounding down through the feet. Feeling the opening in the hips. Listening to your body. If you've got pain in your knees, pain in any of your joints, this may not be a pose for you, and that's okay. Feel Certainly feel free to skip it and maybe even modify it if you've got a block or a folded blanket. You can always bring a block beneath you to gently rest on to ease any tension. So now we're going to place our hands back on the mat and slowly rising back up and coming back forward once again into downward facing dog. And let's walk out the dog there after that. Yes, gently walk in the doggy. And just take a few breaths here. And taking our gaze towards the front of the mat, let's step, walk, or float to the front of the mat. And once again, we find ourselves in ragdoll. We'll once again just take another ragdoll here. Pressing in through all 10 toes. And lifting up the toes off the mat. And pressing back down. Now we're going to slowly and gently rise all the way up. Slowly, slowly allowing the head, neck, and shoulders I'm just rolling up one vertebrae at a time. And taking a roll of the shoulders, engaging the thighs, feeling the kneecaps engaging through the core. Taking a roll of the shoulders down away from the ears. And reaching the crown of the head towards the sky. Opening the palms to the front of the mat. Feeling nice and tall in your tall mountain. Excuse my adjustment. And reaching the arms up towards the sky and bringing palms together. And taking a crescent to the right. And exhale. Rising up on the inhale. And exhaling to the left. And rising up on the inhale. Let's slowly come down to a forward fold. Bringing hands to shins or to the mat, rising up to a halfway lift. Nice, strong, straight back, reaching the crown forward and coming down to a forward fold. Let's place the hands on the mat on either side of the feet and stepping back. Let's step our right foot back and keeping a nice, strong 90-degree angle in our right foot, in our left foot forward. Let's take our back foot and place it at a 45-degree angle and pressing through both feet. Let's rise up forward, keeping our shoulders straight towards the front of the mat, rising up nice and strong, pressing through the feet, engaging the core, and bringing the arms all the way up to a nice and strong warrior one. Taking the shoulders down away from the ears. Sammy, Sammy, Sammy. Let's drop our hands behind our back and clasp our hands behind us and just pressing gently towards the earth. Excuse me. Oh, crud. And pressing the hands down towards the earth, opening up through the chest. And we're going to slowly hinge forward at the hip. And we're going to come into a humble warrior. So we're keeping a nice, strong 90-degree angle in our front leg. We're pressing through the back foot. And we're going to slowly hinge forward. And what we're going to do here is bring our left shoulder to the inside of our left knee. So slowly hinging forward and just doing what feels good for your body here, what you're able to do. Bring coming down, maybe just resting the torso on the left thigh. We're bringing the shoulder to the inside. There we go. And just taking a few breaths here, allowing the head to just relax. And slowly rising back up and releasing your arms and reaching up once again into Warrior One. Now let's bring our hands back down to the mat. We're going to step our left foot back to meet the right in a plank. And we're going to slowly lower down to the mat. You can bring your knees to the mat, bringing the top of the feet to the mat, and slowly lowering down, keeping your elbows tucked in towards your body, and coming down to the mat and pressing up through the hands to a nice low cobra. Goodness gracious. And pressing up through pressing through your hands, tucking all 10 toes, and coming into a downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, now we're going to take our right foot and we're going to step it back behind our right thumb, taking our right big toe behind our right thumb. And we're going to take that back foot to a 45-degree angle. And we're going to rise up again to Warrior One on the other side. So slowly rising up, pressing in through the feet, bringing the chest up, engaging the core, and bringing your arms up, bringing the shoulders down away from the ears, taking your gaze forward in front of you. Nice, strong 90-degree angle in your front knee. My goodness. What next? We're going to take our hands behind us and clasp our fingers and do the humble warrior on the opposite side. So bringing the palms down towards the earth and hinging forward at the hips. Lay down, sweetheart. And bringing our right shoulder to the inside of the left knee. And slowly rising back up. Releasing the hands, reaching up one more time to a strong warrior one. And bringing our hands back down to the mat on either side of the front foot. And this time we'll take a twist to our back foot and stepping forward and coming into a forward fold. And slowly rising up, tall mountain. All right, we're going to do another little longer, more vigorous vinyasa flow. So we're going to come down to a forward fold. Rising up to a halfway lift. And coming down and placing our hands on either side of our feet and stepping back to high plank. Now you can lower to the mat by bringing your knees to the mat like we did before, or you can chaturanga. So for chaturanga, you're going to stay up on your toes. You're pressing all 10 fingers into the mat. You're going to shift forward on your toes. And when you lean down, you're coming down, you're bending your arms, keeping your elbows towards the mat. Now you're going to shift, placing the tops of your feet onto the mat. You're going to come down and then you're going to press up to an upward facing dog, keeping the thighs up off the mat. Or you're pressing up into cobra. And then you're coming up to a downward facing dog. Looks like I just have a little bit less mat to work with here now. She's decided to nap on the end of the mat. Funny puppy. Okay. So from downward facing dog, we're going to take our right leg and we're going to bring it up high. We're going to open up the hip and take a bend in the right knee. Let's take a couple turns of the ankle in one direction. Take a few turns in the ankle in the other direction. And squaring the hips. We're going to take our left foot and kind of center it here. And taking the left leg high, we're going to take our right knee to our right elbow and just tap. And bring our right leg high once again. And we're going to bring our right knee to our left elbow and just tap. And bring it high once again. Now we're going to take our gaze to the center of our hands. And we're going to step our right foot right in the middle of our hands. And our back foot is in alignment. Now we're going to take our back foot and twist to a 90-degree angle. So we're looking and we're getting our alignment correctly here. Taking a nice wide stance, imagining a line from the back of our front heel to the center of our back foot. Now pressing in through both feet, we're going to rise up and our hips are going to face the long edge of our mat. And we're in warrior two. So taking a nice strong bend in the front leg, pressing through the long edge of our back foot. We're going to take our arms out nice and wide. Taking our shoulders down away from the ears and taking our gaze over our front fingers. Nice strong warrior two. And we're going to flip our front hand, palm up. We're going to take our left hand in the back and take it down to the back of our left thigh while we pendulum up our right arm, taking our gaze up to our right fingers and reaching up to a reverse warrior, taking our gaze up, maybe even continuing and taking a back bend here. I apologize if this is noisy. There we go. Okay, and then bringing our elbow to our knee and bringing the left hand up. And you can rest your right elbow on, on your right knee for extended side angle. Or you can even take your fingertips and reach down towards the floor, resting the fingertips on the floor or a block if you have one. And taking the gaze up to the left fingers. And slowly coming back up to Warrior Two. Now we're going to take our feet and we're going to place them both at a 45-degree angle and reaching the arms up to a 5-pointed star. And cactusing the arms and taking a nice bend of the knees, keeping our knees right above our ankles and coming down into Goddess, taking a squatting, taking a squat here. Sitting up nice and tall through the spine and pressing back up into a 5-pointed star. Shoulders down away from the ears. Coming down once more to Goddess. And up to a 5-pointed star. Now we're going to take a Warrior Two to the back of the mat. So we're going to take our front foot and placing it towards the front edge of the back of the mat, short edge of the mat. Taking our right foot to the 90-degree angle and bringing our hands down. And taking our gaze over our left fingers this time. Nice strong Warrior Two. And coming on once again, feet to a 45-degree angle. Arms come up to a 5-pointed star. Coming back down to Goddess. Up once again to a 5-pointed star. And we'll take that Warrior Two to the front of the mat. We can take our hands down to the mat on either side, taking our left foot straight behind and taking our right foot, stepping back to high plank and either lowering down to the mat, chaturanga if it's in your practice, upward facing dog or cobra, and coming up to a downward facing dog. And we're going to do that same flow on the opposite side. So this time we're going to step our right foot to center, taking our left leg high, opening up through the hips, taking a bend in the left leg, and a couple circles of the ankle one direction, a couple circles of the ankle the other direction. Squaring the hips. We're going to take our left knee and tap the left elbow. Coming back up. And we're going to tap the right elbow. And coming back up. Now taking our gaze to the center of our hands and stepping our left foot between our hands. And positioning Warrior Two. Taking a nice stance, imagining that line between your feet and rising up to a nice strong Warrior Two. Shoulders once again down away from the ears. And long, slow, deep breaths in and out of the nose. Flipping the front palm and coming into reverse warrior. Taking a few breaths here. And coming into extended side angle. So bringing your elbow to knee, Bringing the right arm up and perhaps taking the left finger to the mat and holding here for a few breaths. And rising up once again, warrior two. Taking our feet to a 45-degree angle, 5-pointed star, and coming down to goddess. Taking a nice squat. And holding. Coming up to a 5-pointed star. Let's bring our hands to our waist and slowly taking our feet to facing our toes forward. Let's take a wide leg forward fold. So just taking a nice straight back. I'm going to slowly hinge forward at the hips, allowing the head and neck to just hang. And perhaps taking our arms down to the floor, to the mat, maybe grabbing opposite elbow. And once again, bringing our hands to our hips and slowly with a nice flat back, rising back up. Once again, taking our feet to a 45-degree angle, coming up to a 5-pointed star and coming down to goddess. And rising up to a 5-pointed star. Let's take a warrior two to the back of the mat. Taking a few breaths here. Coming back up into a 5-pointed star and coming down to goddess. And 5-pointed star. And warrior two back to the front of the mat with the puppy. Taking whatever adjustments you need, paying attention to your alignment. And let's bring our hands back down to the mat. And we're going to step our left foot back to meet the right. And we're going to slowly lower all the way down to the mat. And coming down on our belly, we're going to bring the forehead to the mat, bringing the tops of the feet to the mat. We're going to do 3 cobras. So we're going to do it in a progression. We're going to keep our hands up nice by our shoulders and just come to a low cobra. So just pressing up, keeping our elbows in towards our body, just pressing up, bringing the rib cage up off the mat. Taking a soft gaze forward and releasing forehead back down to the mat or the puppy. We're going to take our hands back a step, bringing our hands even with our chest. We're going to slowly, again, keeping the elbows tucked in, coming up, keeping our hips pressed into the mat, coming all the way back, bringing the rest of the body up off the mat. Shoulders down away from the ears. And releasing, forehead back down to the mat. Now we're going to bring our hands beneath the shoulders. And we're going to bring our hands our arms almost to straight. We're going to keep a micro bend in our elbows, and we're going to bring our thighs up off of the mat. So pressing up. And taking 2 breaths here. Okay, coming up onto your knees. We're going to go into extended child's pose once again. So bringing the big toes to touch, bringing the knees out nice and wide, and setting back onto the heels. And slowly walking the hands forward, bringing the belly to the chest, to the mat, the chest to the mat, and ultimately the forehead to the mat. And just melt here for a moment. Taking any adjustments you need to get nice and comfortable. Taking one more breath here. And slowly begin walking your hands back towards your body. And we're going to come up onto our knees, and we're going to come to a seat. So bringing your right foot forward, we're going to bring the right knee behind the right wrist, shifting our right foot towards our left hand, and bringing our left foot to cross the back of our right leg, and just so that we can sit back cross-legged. And we can bring our feet out in front of us, putting the feet on the mat, bringing the derriere towards the feet, and slowly setting back and setting up for bridge pose. So we're going to set all the way back on the mat, taking a roll of the shoulders down away from the ears, palms down on the mat, and if they're not already there, walking the feet up next to the glutes to make sure we keep a nice 90-degree bend in our feet. So pressing through the feet and pressing through the palms of the hand. Let's take a slight bend, bringing our chin to chest slightly and pressing through the shoulders. And we'll bring our hips up, engaging the core, engaging the glutes, feeling the stretch in the thighs. And releasing down just to a hover and coming right back up and holding here. And take a few long, slow, deep breaths. And slowly lowering down to the mat. Let's bring our knees all the way up into the chest and wrapping our arms around our legs, however works in your body here tonight. And give yourself a little hug. Stretching out through the back, the shoulders, and maybe rocking forth, back and forth, and giving the lower back a little massage, bringing the head and neck back down to the mat, feeling the length of the spine, grounding into the mat. And releasing the arms down and bringing them out to either side and bringing the knees up to a 90-degree angle. to do a supine twist. So we're going to take our knees and we're going to drop them off to the right side, bringing them down to the floor as far as we can. If you have a blanket or a block and you need some space there, that's totally awesomeness. And dropping your knees down and feeling that stretch. We're keeping our shoulders against the mat. We're going to take our gaze over the opposite shoulder, so over the left fingers, and maybe even taking the right fingers and bringing the hand to the outside of the left knee. Just deepening that stretch, but just gentle. Just a gentle stretch here. And breathing. And releasing the left hand, the right hand, bringing the knees back to center and dropping them off to the opposite side. Bringing the gaze over the right fingers, taking the left hand to the outside of the right knee and feeling that twist. And releasing the hand, bringing the knees back to center. We're going to open up, bringing our feet up, opening up the knees for happy baby. So we can wrap our hands around our ankles, or you can bring your hands to the outside of your feet or the insides of your feet, or even wrapping peace fingers around your big toes. Just opening the feet, feeling the length of the spine grounding down into the mat, and maybe taking gentle rock back and forth, massaging the low back. Continuing to breathe. Preparing our body for our final resting pose of Savasana. And releasing your fingers and taking the legs out long on the mat. And letting your legs fall open. Nice, comfortable distance apart, and the feet fall open. Nice and relaxed. Bringing the hands to either side of the body, a nice, comfortable distance away. Again, taking a roll of the shoulders down away from the ears, pointing those shoulder blades down towards the feet. Palms down for grounding, palms up for extra energy. And just noticing as our energy begins to settle. Releasing the Ujjayi breath, releasing any control you have over your breathing in any manner, and allowing the body just to return to its normal, comfortable, natural breath. Without judging that breath, just with calm curiosity and awareness, bringing your awareness to that breath. I encourage you to continue your savasana just as long as you possibly can. Maybe even pause this video and press resume once you are ready to continue. And when you are ready, begin wiggling your fingers and wiggling your toes and bringing your attention back into the room, back into your body. And without opening your eyes, just gently rolling onto one side and using your arm as a pillow. And taking a moment here to recall any moments from your practice tonight, today, this afternoon that particularly felt really good in your body, something that helped you relax or feel strong or confident. Just taking a moment to appreciate that feeling. And taking a moment of gratitude for your body and your mind and your spirit coming together in union in yoga. And that gratitude, let's take that gratitude and let's shine that gratitude back onto yourself. And gratitude for bringing yourself to this practice, for giving yourself this moment, this time, this self-care. Pressing gently through your palms and slowly rising up. Coming back into a seat. No sudden movements. Taking a roll of the shoulders down away from the ears. Sitting up nice and tall, reaching the crown of the head to the sky. Thank you so much for joining me. As you move throughout your day, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, and peace in your heart. From my heart to yours, namaste. And since this is YouTube, if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Peace.